If you're shopping in Los Angeles and you have a decent budget, but you're not feeling like your money is getting what you want, you've probably had this conversation on repeat. Should we just buy now or wait? You're seeing homes you actually like, your rate quote still starts with a 6, and you're comparing that mortgage payment to what a similar home would cost to rent. So what's actually the smarter decision for someone in your position, getting in now or sitting on the sidelines? I'm Keri White, real estate agent in beautiful Los Angeles, and on this channel, I share data-driven insights so you can make informed decisions, whether you're buying, selling, or just keeping a close eye on the market. If you like having the numbers and the strategy broken down this way, hit subscribe and share this with a friend who's wrestling with the same question. In this video, we're going to look at what buying now actually looks like in Los Angeles and how those monthly payments compare to renting a comparable home, and a few real-world scenarios from clients making this decision right now in real time. And if you haven't seen my video on the new Fed chair and interest rates, that one covers the why rates are higher for longer backdrop, so check it out. So this video is about that backdrop and what it means for your buy now or wait decision. So let's ground this in real numbers. Example 1. So you're looking at a $2 million home. 20% down is $400,000, and that leaves you at a $1.6 million loan. At a mid 6% 30-year fixed rate, your principal and interest alone will land roughly in the low $10,000 per month, a little bit under 10, so 95. Property taxes, insurance, and some allowances for maintenance, you're probably around $12,000 to $13,000 per month. Total housing cost all in. And so what does a similar home rent for? In many LA neighborhoods, a quality 3 or 4 bedroom single family home or high-end townhome that would sell around $2 million might rent somewhere in the $9,000 to $11,000 per month, depending on pocket and condition, of course. So at this price band, owning can be more expensive per month than renting something comparable, at least on day one. On a pure monthly cash basis, renting can often win, which is why the real decision isn't just math, it's math plus lifestyle. When someone's looking at a $2 million or $3 million house says, we'll just wait, here's what they're actually hoping for. That rates come down enough to make the payment better, that prices soften so they can get a deal, that somehow they'll time it perfectly. The reality in this part of the market, rates may drift, but most realistic paths keep them higher than the 3% world we came from. We're never seeing that again. Price forecasts for LA are mostly in the flat to small move range, not a deep discount sale. And when rates do move down, serious buyers at this level come off the sidelines quickly, especially for good homes and good pockets, which pushes up competition and prices. So waiting isn't completely neutral. Waiting might mean continuing to pay a high rent for a home that's fine, but you don't control anything, and they could ask you to leave. Watching 1 or 2 homes that were actually a great fit come and go, staying in that low grade of anxiety of maybe next year without ever getting more clarity. And sometimes that's exactly the right call. Other times it's just a way of postponing a decision that's always hard or scary. So let me make this real with a trade-up story. A couple I worked with bought a smaller house a few years ago. Think a cozy mid $1 million home in a great pocket with a 3% mortgage rate. It was a perfect house for them as a couple. Fast forward, 2 kids, 2 demanding jobs, both working from home some days. By the time they called me, they were having the same conversation every week. Whose laptop goes on the dining table this time? Where do we put the guests? Why are we still stepping over toys in the hallway? And they were looking at larger homes in like the 2.3 to 2.7 range. And every time they ran the payment at today's rates, one of them would say, this just seems crazy. Instead of starting with, you should buy, we laid out 3 versions of their life. So you stay put, keep the current mortgage, keep the low payment, and accept that this house feels cramped, but you're gonna do it. Maybe invest in some storage, a layout tweak, but no major change. Or trade up now. Sell the current home and roll that equity into a bigger one at today's rate. Your payment goes up meaningfully, but so does your usable space, your layout, and the way that your days actually feel. Or you wait with a plan. Keep the current house for another 1 to 2 years. Stack some more cash, get very specific about the neighborhood, the price range, and only move if something clearly worth it appears. So we've talked through a typical Tuesday, not just a spreadsheet, like when they're taking calls, where homework happens, how they'll realistically stay and live if they don't move. For them, staying meant another 5 to 7 years of feeling squeezed. Moving meant a higher payment, but a house that actually fit the life that they were already living. So they decided to trade up now. 6 months after closing, when I checked in, the conversation wasn't about the rate. It's never about the rate. It's always about we're not on top of each other anymore. The kids actually have a place for their stuff. We're pregnant. We're not fighting with the house every day. And there's just a quality of life that they couldn't get before. And that's not the right decision for everybody, but it's a good example of when buy now makes sense, even when renting or staying is cheaper on paper. Now let's look at the opposite outcome because I think that's just as important. Another couple came to me looking for a single family home around $2 million. They were renting a nice home, paying a decent amount monthly, and feeling that pressure of we should probably just buy something. On paper, their pre-approval looked fine, but when we dug in, the monthly payment at today's rate would have eaten up a huge share of their income. Their careers were still shifting. One job might move them to a different side of town, and the specific homes they could afford at $2 million just didn't genuinely excite them. So we pressed pause and we asked, if we lock you into this home for 5 to 7 years, how does that feel? What happens if your job moves or you have a child or your parents need to be closer? Are we solving a real problem or just buying to buy? In their case, it felt forced. Instead of pushing them into a purchase, we built a not yet plan. Tidy up some remaining debt, keep building cash over the next 12 to 18 months, spend time in the neighborhoods they might actually want to commit to, not just online, but through their real routines. We set concrete markers. If rates are around X, prices are around Y, and we find this type of home, then we're ready to move quickly. They're still renting, but now it's a conscious choice, and they have a plan for when they're going to purchase in the next 6 to 12 months, and they're saving cash. So that's a case where waiting was absolutely the right move. So where does that leave you? At this level, the rent versus own question is real. A home that would sell around $2 million might rent for $10,000 to $11,000. While owning it runs around $12,000 to $13,000. Now that's before you do your depreciation, before your write-offs, because there's many advantages of owning a home when you're going to pay your taxes. So keeping that in mind, plus your equity, you see you're really in a position, the same position either way, and being a homeowner has so many benefits. So on paper, sometimes renting wins in the short term, but owning gives you control, stability, and a long-term hedge against both rent inflation and price movements. Renting keeps you flexible and sometimes less stressed month to month, especially if your life is still in motion. And the decision isn't purely numbers or purely emotional. It's both. Can you comfortably carry the payment, and does this specific home actually make your life better enough to justify it? If you're looking in that price point in Los Angeles and you're stuck between buying now and waiting, you don't need more generic takes. You need to see your scenarios laid out clearly. If you reach out, I can put together a buy now or wait game plan tailored to you. A rough monthly picture for owning at your target price point at today's rates, a realistic view of what renting a comparable home costs in your preferred pockets, and how those options line up with your income, your time horizon, and your lifestyle priorities. This isn't about pushing anybody into a purchase. It's about getting you out of the should we, shouldn't we loop so you can either move forward confidently or wait on purpose. And if you want more content like this, including my video on the new Fed chair and interest rates and the upcoming one on whether it's a good time to sell in LA, subscribe to KeriTV so you don't have to figure this out alone.